I haven't done one of these channel update videos in quite a while, more so because I have access to the community tab, which is a better place to post constant updates instead of taking time out of the day to make a whole video. But I know half of you don't read those updates and then ask me later what's going on. But more importantly, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming down the pipeline that warrants a whole video update. For a while now, I've been teasing that I've been working on some mystery Castlevania project, and I think it's close enough now to where I can go ahead and reveal it. And I've been working on a lot more than just that, probably since about June. So managing that plus managing weekly content just to keep the channel rolling has been absolutely insane. It's officially September now, which means it's crunch time for me on this channel to get all this stuff done. And on top of that, we've got a Category 5 hurricane next door barreling straight towards us, so who knows how the rest of the week is going to go. This month content may be a bit lighter as far as uploads compared to what it normally is. Live streams won't be affected. Those are still going to be Monday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you are someone that doesn't care about the live streams and you're only here on this channel for one thing or another, I ask for your patience. I promise you the payoff will be worth it. Just this month it's going to be a little slower. Here's what I actually had planned for October, and I wanted to do it last year, but last year was crazy. There was no time. I still had a full-time job, which when you do full-time job and you're trying to do full-time YouTube, one of them's got to go. It's just not going to work. Thankfully this year I have had the opportunity to be full-time on YouTube, so this is all I do. I'm doing a month-long event on the channel called 31 Days of Gamer Thumb TV, starting at the beginning of October, going all the way through the end. It's going to be very Halloween, monster-themed. It's going to be awesome. Check out the intro I made for some of the videos. The idea is to have a video every single day for you guys, brand new original edited content daily for the whole month. Keep in mind that does include live stream uploads, so really that's like 23, 24 plus original edited videos uploaded plus live streams. Either way, something on the channel uploaded every single day. And I'm really going to be mixing it up, which stresses what I've always envisioned my channel to be, something for everybody. I don't like just focusing on one thing. Like I said before, Mondays and Fridays, we're going to have Halloween-themed streams, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. But this time on Saturdays, we're including a nighttime stream for Friday the 13th, the game, every Saturday in October. There's going to be Halloween-themed video game reviews, retrospectives, like Castlevania Dracula X is one of them, Halloween-themed movie ones, Creep Show, Child's Play, Ghostbusters, so much more I'm not going to reveal because I want it to be kind of a surprise. You'll have to check the channel daily. There's going to be top 10s. There's going to be another Mortal Kombat timeline video, this time covering the history of the horror monster characters like Predator and the Alien and Leatherface and Freddy that they added to those games. Perfect time to do them. Now, the big Castlevania project is going to be a huge focus on mine for October. And this news is going to disappoint some of you, but let me go ahead and explain, and I hope by the end of it you understand. The original idea I had for October was to do the Silent Hill timeline. It was requested, it still gets requested all the time, but as much as I love Silent Hill as a series, I don't know how well they work with my timeline series the way I do them, because the games themselves are not very interconnected. Yeah, I know 1 goes to 3, but all the others, it's more scattered. They're more independent stories that don't really link up to each other very well. On top of that, several of the games have different endings. You talk to 5 different people on what they think one ending means, you'll get 5 different explanations. It's all very theoretical. It's never clear which one's canon, which not. It's not clear what's really happening, what's in someone's head. So putting everything together in one singular timeline, it doesn't work. And I tried also. I played through a couple of them, put some footage together, and I actually made a part 1. I have it sitting on my hard drive. But rewatching it while I was editing it, to put it bluntly, it was boring to watch. There's really a lot of walking around, overall with very little action. I mean, you meet a character here and there, and you fight a boss here and there, but overall as a timeline, it wasn't very entertaining. Now, I still want to do something Silent Hill, because like I said before, it's one of my favorite video game series of all time. I want to do it justice. I want to give it some kind of project in the future. I don't know yet what form that'll take, so Silent Hill timeline or whatever it's going to be, that's going to get put on the side. I'm going to put that on hold for the time being. Instead, what I'll be doing is something I been wanting to do ever since I made my Castlevania timeline series that so many of you discovered me from seeing that series. I'll be doing a project called The Perfect Castlevania Timeline. Before I explain what this is, rest assured it's very different from the original timeline I did on this channel. So if you're thinking in your head right now, he already did that, I don't want to see it again, you're going to want to watch both, night and day. When I did the first one, it was kind of an experiment, really. I wanted to explain the overall Castlevania story, but if you look at the official canon and Konami's explanations of the games, there's so many gaps in the story. There's so many plot holes, so many storylines they began that never evolved into anything. So many explanations they give in Game A, and then in Game B they completely forgot about. It's a mess. For example, when Harmony of Dissonance came out for the Game Boy Advance, their official website put out a timeline which took out Circle of the Moon and both N64 games. When Portrait of Ruin came out, if you got the collector's edition, it had a brand new printed timeline that included all three of those again, but with no explanation as to why or how. They were just there again. So this essentially results in a bunch of fans arguing over what's canon and what's not canon. I ignored all of that. In the N64 game, you play as a Belmont character named Reinhardt that's using the Vampire Killer Whip, but according to the lore, he shouldn't even been able to touch that whip because he's a Belmont. So I explained that there was some priest that lifted the curse temporarily. Mind you, you're not going to find that in any of the games. I didn't really make it up. It's a fan theory that's been around. Even the curse of the Vampire Killer Whip, the fact that they couldn't touch it at all, even that's a fan theory with a lot of evidence for it, but a fan theory nonetheless. The only official explanation that Konami ever gave was Dracula was going to return in 1999 and the Belmonts couldn't touch the whip till then. It doesn't explain anything. It's like, why couldn't they touch it? And that's what I mean. I went through and started filling in all the little gaps. But I still left several things out. Legend still didn't make sense within the timeline. Kid Dracula still didn't make sense. But after that series came out, something magical has happened since then. We got a Netflix series. And that's really what gave me the motivation to start crafting a 2.0 version of that project. It's going to blow the original away. It's going to be an 8-part series this time, not including Lords of Shadow. It's all going to be classic. And you'd be surprised, actually, if you pay attention to the details explained in the Netflix series, it solves a lot of problems that kept some games from not fitting. One example is Kid Dracula. Why didn't Kid Dracula fit before? If you assume Kid Dracula is young Alucard, which most people agree that's the case, well, when did that happen? Because the only time period that could have happened, he didn't have time to grow up from a child to an adult to make it in time for Castlevania 3. But the Netflix series explains that Alucard actually aged very quickly.
My father was a polymath, my mother was a doctor, and I grew up very fast.
What does that mean?
I'm being literal. I aged very quickly.
Problem solved. Kid Dracula on NES and Kid Dracula on Game Boy now work. Even normally insignificant characters are going to have important roles. We're going to make Sonia Belmont important again. Some games don't have specific times, like Order of Ecclesia on the DS. All we know is early 1800s. They've never given the game an established dates. So for the games that don't have established dates, we're going to give them one. Super Castlevania 4 is a remake of Castlevania 1 in Japan. In the US, that was treated like a sequel to Simon's Crest. So we're going the sequel route. We're going to go ahead and include that too. I'm going to be using footage from games that I didn't use the first time around. Castlevania 1 on NES, instead of using that, I'll use Castlevania Chronicles. Castlevania The Adventure on Game Boy, instead of that one, we're going to go for the Rebirth version. Everything is going to be in the original aspect ratio with the year it takes place, and the main character clearly labeled. It's all going to look very pretty. All rendered in 4K quality. And I'm also very excited to announce that this is going to be partly a collaboration with Otero Studios, a very talented artist friend of mine with his own YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked him out before, make sure to subscribe to his channel, give him some love. I'll put his link in the description below. He loves Castlevania every bit as much as I do, so I asked him if he could do some artwork for me on this video series for moments that were never seen. Let me give you a quick example. In the Netflix series, if you notice, Trevor has 2 whips. He has the one from season 1 that's blessed and makes demons explode.
The whip's consecrated for fighting vampires and demons.
But then he also finds the Morning Star in Season 2, whereas in the video game universe, typically the vampire killer can change form into a different whip. So my theory in this series is that the vampire killer is the Morning Star that Trevor found in the chest, and the original whip he was using in Season 1 is going to end up being the Hunter whip that ends up in the hands of Nathan Graves in Circle of the Moon. And then Nathan Graves, years later, is going to pass it down to Reinhardt from Castlevania 64, solving the vampire killer whip problem during that time. And Otero Studios has illustrated that moment and many others you will see beautifully. I'm so excited to unleash all this Halloween content. I've literally been planning it all year. Actually, I've been planning it since last year. I just didn't have time to do it last year. So this year, it's all finally coming together, and you guys are going to love it. Also, I would like you guys to leave me some comments down below with some games you want to see streamed that are Halloween or monster or scary themed, whatever the case may be. Leave me some titles below you'd like to see. I do have my list mostly set up, but if there's a game maybe I forgot and a lot of you want to see streamed, I'll kind of adjust everything around to accommodate for that. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys are excited as I am. Catch you later. Since you made it to the end of this video, I assume you enjoyed it, so why don't you go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any new content. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, links in the description below, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can join my Patreon or become a channel member. This is Fabian, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.